You're going to love this chat with Sarah. She's an absolute firecracker and her work ethic and energy are ridiculously infectious. Sit back and enjoy as we chat about life and work and go a little bit deeper with my dear friend Sarah. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which this podcast was recorded, the people of Bundjalung country, and pay my respects to elders past and present. Today I'm catching up with a wonderful human, a mother of two beautiful girls, twin girls. How do we say it? I'm not sure. A producer extraordinaire and, put simply, an infectious, bright and wonderful person. Sarah, welcome.
Oh.
Who is that behind me?
Another twin mum, but that's better than me.
There's two mums. Twin mums.
Thank you for having me. It's very exciting.
Yes, and thank you for welcoming into your home. Normally I welcome you into my kitchen, but we've come down to Tweed today. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful, bright, sunshine-filled day.
Yes, indeed.
No, but so I'm excited to talk to you because we met many, many years ago on a job, and my favourite part of remembering meeting you for the first time was in a foyer of a hotel where we were staying before the job, and you were basically like an octopus. You're like strands of bright happiness were like, "G'day, I'm Sarah," and I was just like, I love it. I mean,
that's good.
Let me be friends with this person. It was so good.
It could go the other way. People are like, oh, she's a lot. Oh, no, I've got all weekend with her. No.
Yes, this 4-day shoot. Yes, it's going to be terrible.
That's great.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah,
but
I felt the same about you as well, which was good. I was like, yes, this is a great team. I'm loving it.
And that was a cool shoot because it was like, it was a brand piece, but it was so kind of, the people involved in that were so blown away by their experience. So being able to capture that and craft their story was actually super cool. I really loved that one.
Yeah, I really liked it too. It was nice. And they were also like genuine, just lovely, and like families. I think it's always nice working with families and sharing nice stories.
Yes. Yeah. It was like country people coming to the big smoke.
Yeah.
So good. So today, I just touched the mic. Silly me. I need a coaster here. I'm going to run through a bunch of stuff question-wise, and I'd love for you to tell me about you and how you live your life and work and all the different things that you do, because from our chats over the years, I've kind of been like, okay, there's more to you and lots of value I could get and have gotten out of the little snippets and little pieces of joy and things that you deliver. So I have a couple of questions. So can you, first of all, run me through, what's it like being a twin mum, by the way? Motherhood.
It's interesting. I think it's the universe knew to give me twins. It was like, that girl, she likes a challenge. She doesn't like to stop. She's got a lot of energy. Yeah, she could do the twin thing. So I don't know, I love it. I actually love it. It's pretty chaotic, but I thrive in chaos, I think. So yeah, I really like it. They're like individual people. So Frankie and Belle, they're 4.5 years old. And yeah, they're just awesome little humans. It's like you got the best of both worlds. Like I was like, oh God, life would be so boring with just one. And also then I'm like, and then if one was like really empathetic and sweet, then they don't have that other side. And then the other one's more, engineering brain and really chatty and smart and funny. And they're both just awesome. So yeah, I love it.
Nice.
When they were babies, I found it surprisingly like a bit easier than now when they're 4.5-year-olds and they have big emotions and, big personalities and, yeah, and I'm always trying to adapt and make things creative and, gamify everything so that they, enjoy doing it or want to do it or, word of the week, respect. Come on, kids, get on board with this.
Respecting mummy.
Respect and kindness. And they're like, yeah, okay, we're on board. And then they're like, okay, now we're over that, mum. Next. So,
and that was 5 minutes long, right? Yeah. It doesn't stop.
So, yeah, it's good.
At least for twins, I could imagine, because my girls are 3 years apart, so 6 and 3, but I could imagine that they've at least got their entertainment all the time together when they're not trying to murder each other.
Yeah, that is. It's literally best friends and then like some days some days they are just like at each other's throat and you're like, what is going on? You're best friends. And then next minute they're besties again. They're fine. So yeah, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but it is like a lot. So whether it's, even when they're best friends, it's still fun, but then they're tearing up the house and having fun. And then when there's emotion, it's like big. So it goes from just extremes. You just,
And that 4 age bracket, holy smokes, it's like they're so like, I mean, I think you learn most of your life within that first 7 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So like when they're at 4 and even our daughter at 6, like they are so emotionally like a volcano. Like there's so much in there, and it's all relevant and very like they go off at things, and you're like, how did you even comprehend that was going on? Like, my God.
I know, they blow me away with how smart they are and then how much they take in, and then you see it. Like I've read a lot of, I guess, books or articles and whatnot, trying to put myself in their shoes and understand how they see the world and how they perceive that, and trying to, put your mind in the toddler's mind. And you see like when it's so big and they think this is like the end of the world right now and this is going to be this feeling forever, and we're trying to teach them emotions.
Yes.
And it's tricky, but I think they learn like more in the first 5 years of their life than they do over the next 90 years. And that's a lot to like take in.
Yeah.
So,
and I think the most important part,
very understanding of that.
Well, that's right. Like it's respecting that, what they're going through is actually real and relevant to them and their age and their size and everything. So it's like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm an adult. Wait till you get to our age. There's going to be real problems. It's like that problem is very valid and it's very real.
Yeah.
It's like, I actually think when like being a parent, you kind of like, it's great because you constantly, when you're trying to describe, to tell them what their emotion, help them through that emotion. It's like, I'm relearning how to kind of be a human again as well. You kind of go, oh yeah, I could actually take that on board and relax during different times and things like that as well.
Like exactly that. And I'm like, oh, I actually need to figure out how to regulate my emotions. Okay, this is a really good lesson for me. Or like, don't just try to go put it down. You can feel sad and you can feel this, and that's an acceptable feeling, and then you get through it. Whereas I'm like, oh, sadness, I don't want to feel it, I just bottle it up, and then explodes. I'm like, oh, that's what's happening with them. Okay. So it's like a lesson in life, and through their eyes.
And it's so wonderful. Challenging.
Yeah, challenging.
Was there twins in your family
So
prior?
My great-grandma was a twin. And then no other generation of twins. And I'm from a Maltese family, and, they're all like, it's like my big fat Greek wedding is my family, and they're all just like larger than life and larger in size and all sorts of things. And I'm like the runt of the litter. And then it was like going through the Maltese grapevine when it was like, oh my God, Sarah's pregnant with twins. How's she going to fit them? What's going to happen? Like, is she going to be okay? Like, what's going to happen? Because I'm like quite a teeny person.
Yes.
And then, I got that recessive gene that, the hereditary gene that drops multiple eggs. And so they're basically like two individual pregnancies at once. So it's like getting pregnant with one child and having the sac, the placenta, all that thing, and double. So Frankie and Belle are basically like sisters that could have been born, years apart, but just grew at the same time in my womb, but they had their own sac and placenta and everything, so that they're their own people, but they're just born at the exact same time. So
you pretty much won the lotto.
Yeah.
The chances of that happening.
It's really rare to for that to happen and all go pretty well. So I think it's pretty special. I think it's magical, and I try to remind myself of that in the crazy times when you're like, oh my God, I need a break.
We had more hair when I first met.
I had my first grey. I'm like, oh no.
Hey, grey is where it's at.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Men are like silver fox with a bit of grey. Like women are like, I don't know what we are.
And what about with Mikey? How did you guys go? Like, what did you find out at the same time? Like, were you both at the scan or the blood test? Or
no, I found out because I actually didn't realise I was pregnant to start with, because we'd just started trying, and I've had issues previously and thought it would take a while, and I'd probably have to go down the IVF route and all of that. And then I was feeling nauseous and all the kind of symptoms, but I just got back from Europe, and I thought it was just I always get a bug when I get back from holidays. Whenever I stop or just stop, I get sick. So I was like, oh, I've stopped again, I've stopped working, for a bit. And so I'm now just getting sick. And then, I ended up finding out at the doctor's. They did all the blood tests and everything. Like, no, all your levels are right. Could you be pregnant? I said, I don't know. Could I be? It was like 4 weeks. So hadn't, skipped a period and whatnot. Too much information. But so then they did a test there, and found out I was pregnant, which was very exciting. So then I went and told Mikey, and it was my dad's birthday that day. So told him at dinner that night. And it was this funny thing actually. So I went, the way I wanted to tell Mikey and Dad was I because they knew I was at the doctor's getting some results, and I said, I've got a parasite.
Oh.
So I just said, I've got a parasite. Yeah, I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah.
And so I went to the chemist and I bought a couple of like those little pairs of like teeny baby socks, and I put it in the little chemist bag, and I said, they told me that this is what I've got to take, kind of thing. So he opened it up and he was like, what's this? And it was like the folate tablets or whatever you should be on, and then these little socks. And he's like, oh my God. And I was like, yep, we're having a baby. And so he was very excited. And I did the same to Dad as well, because they only came in pairs.
Like me.
So there was pairs, and I didn't realise it was twins. And then later I find out a week later that it's twins, and I was like, the little pairs of socks. Because he pulled it up and he's like, are you getting a dog? Because they were like, 2 pairs of socks, 4 feet. And he's like, what the? And I was like, no, I'm pregnant, but just with one. And then, a week later I find out, it was twins. So, it was really early on. So I found out at about 4 or 5 weeks in the scan that there were 2 eggs and 2 embryos or 2 yolks, but there was no heartbeats yet because it was really early.
Yeah.
So then they were like, you'll have to come back in a week's time to see if there are heartbeats, and if there's not, then there won't be. And I was like, but no, I want this. This is happening. What? A week? Yes. That was probably the longest week of my life. I was just trying to be positive and not think anything negative, but also going, this is kind of out of my control.
Oh, man, the whole pregnancy journey.
Let alone freaky.
Trying to conceive. We had a lot of trouble as well.
Yeah.
Like that whole journey, I am never comfortable. I'm not even comfortable once to come out and it's like,
it's so nerve-wracking.
Like, we just got to keep them alive.
Yeah.
Parenting is like a real mind meld of like emotion.
Yeah. Exciting, joy, scared, everything at once, And
then like you're there going, I'm never having sleep again.
Yes.
It's all good. Oh, that's so exciting. I didn't know that story. So that's beautiful. Do they still have the pairs of socks that you gave them?
I think I did keep them somewhere. I've got like the little things that I've kept. I kept like a little keepsake section because when they were born they were so teeny, they were like little preemies, and their clothes fit the dolls now and things like that. So some of them the dolls wear them, and then some of them I've kept in like a little little basket. They were like 6 zeros, just like teeny preemie things, had to be hand knitted for them because they don't sell them that small, and it's really cute. So I
have a question about memory boxes, right? How often should we go through memory boxes, and how long should we keep it, right? Like if you looked at it too regularly, it's like, I think it's...
Yeah, it becomes just like, I don't know. I'm bad with stuff like that. I'm like a bit of a hoarder, like a neat hoarder. I like sentimental things. So I'll be like, I'll keep that, or I'll keep that, or I'll make some craft with that, put that in the craft drawer. Like, I'll keep all these mementos from, my first Europe trip, and I'll make it into a collage. It's in the craft drawer, So then every now and then I have to do a clean out. And I hate doing the big clean outs because I put it off for so long. And then when I do it, I sit there and Mikey will come in and be like, how you going with the cleaner? And I'm like, got it all out. I'm like, I'm just going through every photo and I'm just going through all the memory boxes. And he's like, ugh. So I just get distracted and down this wormhole of looking through them. So it's probably once a year I would do it because I'm supposed to do a clean out once a year, or it's, the shed's too cluttered now. Go on, get in there and declutter.
The yearly confirmation. No, we're still keeping that.
Yeah. I've now moved it into another box, but I got to go through it. And it was so nice.
Aggressive boxes. Okay, we could have year on year, and you're going to go. If it gets to the 12-year mark, you're like, this is it's either staying or it's going.
Yeah, and kids art. Like, what are you supposed to do with kids art? That's cool. You're like, this is really cool artwork. I love it. What am I going to do with it? I can't throw it out, but just goes in like another little file or a box. And then eventually I go through and like, oh, no, that's crap. They're like a year older. They're way better now. It's gone.
It's, the reams of paper. And then they bring it home from kindy. Then they'll bring it home from prep. Yeah. And they're going, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, I've got it on the wall. I do like a rotation of this gallery wall at home. And if you put it in a nice matte frame, it looks like it could be an artwork.
Yes. Well, I think
abstract. So
I think they're all beautiful and they're all great. But the great ones, you definitely put them aside. Do you write down any funny things that they're saying?
I actually had a book. Someone gave me a book, and that was one of the my maternity gifts or my baby shower gifts. And I should be writing in it, and I don't. But I do jot down little things in my phone every now and then. But no, I should. I always go, I should do that more. I should do that keepsake. Do you do it?
We do, yes. Well, Hayley does,
A little book?
She does a book,
I know, I've got the book and I should write it in. I might do it after this.
I've kept memory stuff from when I was a kid, and I keep going how long do I keep this for? Will I want to be looking at it as an 80-year-old?
Yeah.
Or will I be like, man, why did I and I know what's in it. I pretty much remember everything that's in the box because every few years you'll look through it, go, do I keep it? But then you're like, is it worth keeping if you know exactly what it is by the end of it? Like, I don't know.
No, I think it's still worth keeping because do you get a kick out of it if you look back on it? What about even photos on your phone?
Yes.
Like I struggle with that, the whole like culling the photos on your phone. I'm like, it's just like, duh. If I could pay someone to go through it, like the apps, they do it, but I just need I would just pay someone to sit there and go through them because I'm too close to them all. I'm like, oh, I love that. Oh, look at this. Oh, watching that video.
I think we should definitely be printing them at least. Like I'm trying to convince myself like, okay, once a month, print out 30 photos. You're like, the month goes past.
Yeah.
You've taken another 15,000.
Yeah.
What do you do? And that's the problem. I like, because the kids are moving or doing whatever, like we take like 400 of every little scene or whatever. You're just like, that's so many photos.
I know. But it's nice to go back through them just every now and then.
Yeah. The memories that pop up, that's super cool because they've been popping up with like, and because the kids change so much in a year, each year at the moment, like it's super cool to.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. That's like the modern memory box, right?
Totally.
It's like
I think
the little
actually that's a good way to put
albums. I try to put them in albums, but then I just like when the memories pop up, like take a moment to enjoy it.
What would we do without AI?
Yeah, I know.
We'd probably have an album, right?
Yeah. We'd have the photo albums like I used to print, those little holiday albums and whatnot.
Imagine printing. I've got to get back into it.
Yeah.
Now, my next question for you, young lady, is I'm going to come back to one of the other ones, but what got you into TV producing?
Yes. Well, I don't know. It's a funny, I was always drawn to storytell, whether it was through drama or film and TV or writing, whatnot. But at school, I struggled to pick what I would do out of high school. And I loved, in my soul, I loved film and TV and loved storytelling and loved sharing and inspiring others. That was kind of always something I loved to do, whether it was even through art as well. I loved just being able to tell a story in a way that would make someone feel something. So I was always drawn to that. But then when I graduated school, I got good grades. So I did well at school, and I was supposed to go down the route of something that would make me money and has stable employment and not the arts and not film and TV. And wait a minute, there's no money in this? You're telling me now?
What do you mean the work's inflexible? What?
Yeah. Wait, you give your heart and soul to it? Yes. So I was supposed to go down the safe, route. So I had enrolled to do law and business at university, and I was thinking I might major in accountancy or finance or something like that, or economics. And,
you missed your calling.
Can you imagine? I'm such a creative person, and even my job's not creative enough for me. I still need more creative stimulus from outside. So I'd enrolled to do that, but I'd been doing work experience at Channel 7 in grade 11 and 12. I wanted to do it, so I'd called up. A friend of a friend knew someone in the office, and I called up and I said, I'd really love to come do this work experience here. I'll do any of the shit kicker jobs, whatever you want me to do. So I got a gig at Channel 7 and was doing work experience in the holidays, and then they kind of had me back each holidays because I'd call up again and, I was helpful. One day I'd, cut out newspaper clippings of a competition that was being run and, just all sorts of things. And I just was a sponge and I loved it. So I really loved that. And then after I graduated, I called up again and said, could I, come back? And they said, well, we've actually got a production assistant role going. Would that be something you'd be interested in applying for? And I said, I'd love to. So I applied for it. I had a show reel all ready to go from film and TV and at school, which was quite an advanced, high school course that I was doing.
Okay.
And so I put that in and, I got the job. So I got the job as a production assistant at Channel 7, working on the travel lifestyle programs in Queensland, and I loved it. And I thought I'll defer uni for 6 months and see how I go. And I was like, there's no looking back. This is what I want to do. I love it. So, so I deferred uni and then ended up not going and did 6 months and then another 6 months and then, just kept working there at 7 and worked my way up to be production coordinator, and a bit of a junior producer. And then I went over to Channel 10 for 5 years and was producing and coordinating on Toasted TV, which is like Cheese TV, which is shows that I loved watching growing up, and Totally Wild. So then I was producing for Totally Wild, which again, were all these shows that I really loved and were always positive. And then I realised, do you know what, I really want to do positive content. So I don't want to do news because I just think, it's not for me. I want to do something that inspires people or makes them appreciate their surroundings or just, I don't know, brings good into the world. So so then I kind of set that that little life's mission statement to always, do things that, produce good or, create good feelings in people and inspire and spread joy and happiness. And then I went back to Channel 7 and was producing for Queensland Weekender and Creek to Coast and the Great Southeast. And then I ended up being series producer of the Great Southeast. So, running that program, which was, a long-standing show in Queensland and had a great ratings, great loyal audience and really awesome content. So it was all about things to see and do, in your own backyard.
Yeah.
And I felt this like real passion for it. It was like my calling to I guess, get people to appreciate their surroundings. I kind of thought, we're not solving the world's problems. I'm not a doctor, but at least I can make people, I guess, enjoy their surroundings and be a little bit more grateful for where they live. And, I was thought, inspiring families to get out on weekends and go to parks and go to an event or, give them activities and things to do that, are low cost and affordable and, just get them out of their homes and appreciating life. So, that was kind of my big passion. And I did that up until the kids were born. So then had the girls, so took some maternity leave. And then
you had about 5 minutes off.
Yeah, no, I had maternity leave. I was like, they made me stop at 30 weeks. And I was like, I've got so much energy. I want to keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, just stop at 30 weeks and then you can just, chill out for the next 8 weeks and, you'll be probably having them about 38 weeks. And then I was on 1 day of maternity leave and then my water broke. I'm like, oh, great.
That's because you stopped.
I stopped. Yeah. I'm like, I just shouldn't stop. So, and then, and then I loved like raising the kids. So it was a funny transition from work to kids because I was like married to my job. Like I just loved it. I lived and breathed work.
Yeah.
I just put everything into it. I just loved it. Loved the people I worked with, loved the work I was doing. It was stressful and it was a lot of responsibility and there was like a lot of work. Like the workload was big, but I was just loved it. And so, I thought, how am I going to like transition to not working? And then, I actually just found this peace and contentment with raising the girls and did that for like 2.5 years. And just, it was probably when I look back, probably the only time I felt content in my life. Like I'm always driven and moving and doing. And I felt really content. And and then it kind of wore off. 2.5 years or about 2 years, I got the itch again. And then, then just started freelancing on different projects and just kept getting calls. People would call me. I'm like, okay, I'll give that a go. Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I just got back into it and now I'm busy again.
So what, with the leaning into meaningful work, what do you think drives that?
I don't know. It's just a feeling that I've got. Like I just feel like, I want to do meaningful work. And it's hard because you can't always do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find meaning in a lot of things, but for me to be satisfied, I've got to be doing something more than just a day job, more than just working. It's got to be doing something more. Like, I don't know, I feel like this idea that I've got to inspire or I've got to help or, I've got to be helpful. Like I have to, I don't know what it is. It's just it's just this feeling that I've got. It's like a passion. It's like a calling almost. And so I've felt like, well, I'm good at this. I know this. It's comfortable for me to produce and write and, direct and whatnot. So I kind of just lent into that. But I've got a lot of other sides of me that I still feel like a pull and I still do that in my spare time and do other things as well. So,
Very good.
Yeah.
That's the cosplay stuff? No. That was downstairs dungeon.
Yeah, that's great.
We've all got the furry in us, right? Or was it fuzzy?
Yeah, you're the same though. You've got like the good fuzzy kind of vibes, right? Like you like to do work that's always positive.
Yeah, and again, like
stuff.
we can't always do the warm and fuzzies, but I definitely far more than anything drawn to telling stories of just real things. I think it's like I think it's part of being in the from my side of the world, being in the advertising world.
Yeah,
it's I don't know how to describe it, but it's fun making that content. But at the end of the day, you're selling something. So having meaning behind it, and I did that work for a whole bunch of years as a disability support worker, and I learned so much from that. And I think that really instilled in me. There are stories that people can't tell, so helping people tell those stories. Like, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And definitely in life.
Yeah,
Like,
like
I was, I've never the popular kid or, never been, famous or anything like that. But I do believe that there's more to get out of the real life than just what's put in front of us.
Yeah.
So I kind of like telling those stories is kind of my kind of jam.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I love that as well. And like we talked about, when I worked at Juice TV as well, which is the kids show that's made by the kids in hospital for the kids in hospital. And that's really moving. And so I did a lot of work with Queensland Health and the Children's Hospital. And it was just amazing to kind of work with those kids on those stories and from the child's voice, the voice of the child. And I really felt that was like another kind of calling and moving. But I like change, so I always then do that for a while, and then I go, I love that, I like that, but I've got to like flutter my wings over somewhere else. And
You got to spread your octopus tentacles.
Yeah. The octopus tentacles, I guess. It's actually someone there was like, "Oh, your totem is a dragonfly." He's like, "I see."
Okay.
Like you as a dragonfly. And I was like, oh, like really? And then he was like, yeah, you're kind of always buzzing. And then you're still for a little bit. You're doing, and then you're buzzing again. But you're always got this buzz.
And the whole time you're non-threatening, you're just
you're just buzzing around. Yeah.
You don't sting.
Yeah. I guess, it did sting, yeah.
So your time at Juice TV, obviously that is a wonderful project, but obviously there'd be so much emotion in that role. Yeah. How did you kind of deal with some of the challenging moments of just the heavy emotion of kids in hospital?
There is, and it's really hard. I guess like you probably see it as well if you're working in an environment that's really emotive. You kind of get into this state of like, am I doing enough? Can I be doing more? What can I be? So it is. I don't know. It was tough, but and especially having kids now, and that was kind of almost one of the reasons like I had to leave. I was just finding it was quite an emotional toll.
Yeah.
For like lots of different things, but I wanted to, it was I don't know how to describe how to handle the emotion. I found it was a bit tough at certain times.
Yeah.
But like it was nice. It was good to share the stories, and I think the kids and the families as well felt really empowered in sharing their stories. Then it helps others. So I guess it's kind of like that snowball effect of one person helping another, and then being able to inspire another, which might get them out of, a kind of difficult situation as well. So kind of was that helping and knowing that you're doing your bit.
Yeah. Sometimes I think in our roles where I'm definitely conscious that we are the connectors of things. Like sometimes, most of the time we are not the story, but we are giving that outlet for them to tell. In some way, shape or form.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's like I've had all these different business ideas over the years, but I'm always drawn back to I'm good at kind of helping to tell people's stories or finding that way to tell it that resonates with someone else where they feel like the audience feels something. They're not just watching something that's being sold to them. Like like it's getting them to kind of, creating empathy within them or creating some sort of sense of feeling for that person watching. So I'm quite good at that. So I was like, that's what I've got to kind of keep going towards, and just work with the right people and the right teams and the right projects, all the right brands even, and kind of help to that good.
Brands and advertising definitely play their role in being able to have the crews there to film it and put it out. So there's no hate on advertising. It's definitely a big part of it.
And like brand, I do a lot of work, especially at Seven, with editorial, like brand funded editorial. So, and I really like that because it's like a brand says that this is us, this is what we do. And I like to go, okay, where's the good in that? How can I find, a way to tell that story in a meaningful way as well that's genuine, but will still resonate with an audience, and it's like a win-win for everyone.
I definitely find that with the Warm and Fuzzies, I definitely take that home with me. It's like you can have crappy days at work or whatever, but those good things and even some of the challenging things that we see on our shoots and things, like there's so much that we can just draw into your own life that because it's not perfect, it's not this like crafted, created, kind of Instagram vibe. It's real. And I think like I learn so much from those stories and those meeting those people on jobs. And sometimes it's the things they don't say on camera that I'll take home the most, that they'll say it off. And I just love being able to put that into your life. So it's like, it could be, a very happy Warm and Fuzzy, or it could be, well, that was super challenging for them, but, that's going to affect and I'll put that into my life in a positive way.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think we are lucky that we get to talk to so many different people in a variety of settings. You know, some scientists, you know, some politicians, some, you know, people that have suffered immense pain and grief in their life. But then by them telling those stories, like, one, I'm lucky that I get to take that home myself, but also then hopefully more people watch that and see that and learn things themselves.
Yeah.
It's actually quite cool.
Yeah. I definitely feel that same thing as well. I'm almost like you're almost a story collector. Like you can almost consider yourself a story collector.
Yes.
You're just there collecting all of these stories, and I guess that's almost like life. You're just going through life collecting stories and collecting memories, and I guess it's you're not from going from A to B, you're kind of, I guess, part of my personality or your life. It would be nice if you collect stories along the way and kind of use them for good. Or
I like that. We're like a walking library.
Yeah.
Or like a museum.
Yeah.
I like it.
But I think people's lives are that as well. Like, and it's interesting to share those stories and then, spread them to other people.
It is spreading, not lies.
Like a virus. Like a, can we say the word COVID?
What did you say you had a parasite in you? Oh, it turned out to be my twin daughters.
Yeah.
Twin daughters? Yeah, that's how you say it.
Yeah.
What's your hardest or worst day at work?
Hardest or worst day at work? Like as in a
What's a story that you
specific
had? Yeah.
story. Oh, God.
That your lawyers will let you say.
Yeah. That one doesn't sign the NDA on that one. What would be my hardest day at work?
Don't say the shoots that you're on with me, please.
Yeah, no.
The one you had gastro? No.
I'm trying to think. Because it's weird. Like, it's funny because a hard day, like as in, that was really challenging. I love like a challenging thing. Like, shit's going wrong, but I'll try to find a solution. Like I really like those days, like those hard days where at the end of it you found a solution or you've still nailed it. I like get a kick out of that. It's like this sick thing I do to myself where I like to be satisfied with my day. I'll get like a dopamine hit from problem solving or dealing with it. And it could be like such a hard day, but I'll come home and I'll be buzzing. It could be 10 hours, 12 hours and it's been stressful and it's been chaotic and shit went wrong. And I'm like, fuck, I was kind of responsible for that, but let me just see if I can figure this out and let's like make it work.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I'm like buzzing, and I'll get home and Mike is like, "Oh God, how are you?" It's a huge day. I'm like, "Oh my God, this round. Oh God, it was so great." And he's like, "What is wrong with you? Like, you should be exhausted at the end of this day." And I'm like, "I'm thriving."
It's actually interesting with our industry. Is I think a lot of people don't realize that what we are able to deal with in a day, because like generally we have one moment to film things or shoot or one day, and technology, people, weather, all these different things happen, and we just have to carry on and do it. Illness, like we can't be like, sorry boss, I got to go home. It's like we are the ones on the shoot at that time with those people who have booked. It's like again, we're not changing lives. You
have this huge sense of responsibility to like make it work and make it happen. Yeah.
But you're right. Like, one, it's exciting when you get to the other side of that and you finish the day, but there is no other option other than to make it happen.
Yeah.
So like you come up with the most crazy, convoluted ways to ensure the shoot goes on.
Yeah.
And obviously trying to do that seamlessly.
Yeah.
But people don't realize, I think, just as a freelancer or just in the film and TV industry in general, is that there is kind of no other option other than it happening.
Yeah. I mean, you can cancel it, and then you like do something the next day on a better weather day, but you've got to weigh up all those options in that split second of, is it going to be a better weather day tomorrow? And is it going to be worth the cost? And is it going to be worth that? Or can we make this work still and then get a pickup shop another day to cover that one thing?
Yeah.
And so it's you got to always make it happen, I guess.
Yeah, it's we are forever the problem shooters, troubleshooters.
Yeah. Well, especially in the work that I did for many, many years, which was running the Great Southeast and the travel shows at Channel 7, is that they were on every single weekend and we shot 5 days a week.
Yeah, wow.
So we shot 5 days a week and it never rained on the show. You never saw it like raining. We shot 5 days a week, but it did rain.
Well,
and
Queensland's always sunny, right?
Yeah, and so I just have to adapt like, that's not going to work today. Okay, so we'll cancel that shoot because that really does require a sunny day and we won't be able to tell that story properly and do it justice if it's not, shining. So we'll do an indoor story on this and this and this, or maybe a people-focused story or whatever it is. And sometimes they end up being the best stories because you pulled them together at last minute and they're kind of like the editor's pick, kind of producer pick. Let's just go do this one and we'll go get to know this person. We'll see what we come up with. And it turns out. So then we've got at least that, and then the other one's the backup plan now for the next day or next week. So just the pivoting and adapting and
I think there's a comfort that I've learned over the years that I definitely early on when I was younger that I would stress about things going wrong. Now, obviously outside of someone hurting or injuring themselves, I'm fairly confident that most things we can make work on a shoot. And it's comfortable knowing that. And even when things are going wrong, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, give it a minute, let's sort it out, and let's carry on.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, I don't feel I implode or,
you're great.
It's just kind of, you just roll with it. Like,
you've been great, like so good to work with in terms of that because it makes a big difference. Like if you're a small team as well, everyone's got to be on board with this pivot and adapt and what do we think of this? And you got to kind of like get rid of the egos because someone might just not want to go along with that plan because they didn't come up with it or whatever, and I'm like, ugh, like that's hard work. That's annoying. So you're so good with, if something's like, oh, this is not going to plan here or we're running behind schedule on this, how about we just do this and this and this, and you come up with all these great ideas and you'll go with it and you'll make it happen and you'll be optimistic and positive. Like it could be like a shit show. You could be filming. I think we did that one shoot where it was filming the like NRLW, like the women's state of origin in the wet.
Yes.
And it was like pissing down and you were still like, we're getting stuff. And I'm like, oh, thank God I've got Aaron on this because like we need to get something out of this. And like it can be tricky to make you stay out in the rain with your gear, but I don't want to have to say, please stay out there and get your gear get wet. It's just like, how can we do this? Can we make this work? I'll hold an umbrella. And you're like, yep, we can make it work.
Did we? Oh, no, we weren't allowed umbrellas on the field.
It was something like that. But we
like ponchos or we covered, Ugh.
or maybe my clipboard's covering a thing and like adapting, but just being a team player, but also being an optimist and being able to say, we can make something work with this rather than going, this is shit, this isn't happening.
No. But see, I think that stemmed from like at the end of the day, I think I've always tried to respect and understand that the client is trusting us to deliver something. So I feel if I called them on Monday and was like, oh, it was raining, I didn't want to get wet, sorry. They'd be like, that was the one day we had to do it. Like, so I can.
And also, if you tried, at least you tried, because I wouldn't be able to sleep if I didn't try to do it and fix it or try to make something happen. And you're the same. Like, we'll try it. We'll see how it works. We'll see if it looks all right. Like, it's pissing down rain. I'm cleaning my lens every second. So I'm hoping that there's not like it's not smudged and it's not. But we'll see what we get. But you get some great stuff. You're like, we got enough. And we shoot the shit out of it so we could use like a few shots in between. So we'll make it work.
Yes. And these days we can craft. There's editing is not real. No, it is real. It's important. No.
We're like shooting in 50 frames, 100 frames, and we can slow it down and we can get 30 seconds out of this.
Exactly. No, I think adaptability on jobs is huge. And just, I think being positive is definitely, I definitely have noticed that if I stay positive, it will radiate.
Yes. Yeah, I like that
and
too.
You can kind of take the stress off people who are perhaps not coping as well at that moment. Again, outside of someone hurting themselves, that's a very challenging thing. But I think everything else we can kind of cope with and we can fix it in post.
No,
not quite. All right. So my next question for you is, we just covered so much of that. I want to know, how do you balance now with the girls being, 4.5, being a mother, being a wife, running a family, entertaining each other, growing with each other, doing the meaningful work that you want to do, having your other projects, you're wanting to invest and buy houses and reno and do all those crazy things, which are insane. But how do you, one, choose what to focus on at any one time? And 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, how do you cope with the stresses of just everyday life?
Yes, very interesting question. You used the word balance in there, and that's something that I'm not familiar with that term.
The scales just
Yeah, the scale's just like ding. It's always, I don't know. I've had this personality since I was a kid of like just having this drive and wanting to do things, and I start a lot of projects, and I have this like just drive to I'm going to do this. I feel a calling. I want to do this. I want to do that, and I start it, but I might not always finish it. So when you say all the different things you want to do and the things on the go, like I give them all a go. So I just get in and get shit done and keep going, basically, until I hit a burnout phase, and then I burn out for a little bit. And then I have like what am I doing with my life? What am I going to do? I've got to prioritize everything. And then I kind of settle for a little bit, and then I get back into go, go, go phase. And it just works. It just keeps going. And I've tried so many times to rein it in and to like aim for balance, and balance is something that will be, I don't know, good for you. And I'm like, but not me, it's not good. And like, or taking a break, and then a break makes me way more anxious because I'm not working towards something. So yeah, I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet. I'm still in a constant stage of figuring out what balance means to me. I think balance is like being fulfilled in many areas of my life. So whether it's work, and then also this personal calling, or this feeling like I'm on the right path or doing the right thing, that's like another fulfillment. Social, friends, that's a fulfillment. The kids, obviously, making sure that I'm, feeling like I'm doing mumming well, which is just, again, something that's like an oxymoron. You kind of like, am I always doing it well? Am I not? What's going on? So yeah, I don't know. It's just, I'm always like doing a lot at once, and I always bite off more than I can chew, and I chew really fast. And then the priorities gets to when I've got 10 projects on the go, that one's not filling that spot anymore. That can just pause or sit there for a bit. And then that's kind of how it usually keeps happening. I don't know if that makes sense at all.
I feel that, because it's like I think it's important to start.
Yeah, right? I'm a great starter. Yeah. I'm like a very starter. I'll start it all. And then I go, that project's not fulfilling anymore, so I'll just pause that or like drop that one. And that's how I figure out the priorities.
Yeah.
But I don't. My husband's very organised, and he prioritises everything first and then chips away at them in some sort of logical order. And I'm like, I'll go that, I'll go that, I'll go that, I'll go that. I'll do it all. Oh, I'm overwhelmed. But also I'm loving this, so I'm going to focus on that. And then I'll focus on that now. And, that's still niggling away there. I'll just, see how that one goes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I start a lot of things, and they usually work out well. Like, I've not had any regrets on all of the things that I've started.
Yes.
Like, I don't think I've regretted starting any of the projects. I regret not finishing some, but, like, definitely have not regretted starting on things like
I think it's far more important to start.
Yeah.
And again, if you choose not to finish it, or sometimes just other better things are taking over your time, then there's no failing.
Well, I'm saying to myself, and that's how I get around it. I used to feel like, and I still do have that anxiety of these things are still waiting for me to finish or waiting for me to do, but I go, oh, other people don't do that. I should really, start the one thing and finish that. Why can't I just do one thing and focus on that one thing? But I'm like, no, that's a blessing and a curse for me, and I'm going to look at it as I'm going to look at the good for it. So I started it, and then that's helped me filter out what I want to do and what I don't want to do.
And I also think you should, it's important to see it as, particularly with like the different avenues of work that come up. If you don't start something, then obviously you never do it. But if you do start it, and then that connects you with someone else who is doing something that ends up completing the other thing that you were doing back here, it's more important all like, to connect it out, and then it will resolve. And
well, again, you're like the collector. You're collecting stories or experiences along the way, and that one little opportunity leads to another that fulfills you in another way that links to something else. So
I like it. Start everything.
Start everything. Do everything, guys.
Do it all. You can do it.
Yeah, it's always been like blessing and a curse. Like I've got a lot of energy, a lot of drive and ambition and want to get stuff done, but it's also a curse because I can't switch it off sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, ever. But the switching it off is just like dropping a few things here and there. Like I'm trying to purposely go, okay, notice the signs that's not, if I just focus on trying to get that thing done just for the sake of completing it, it's not going to give me the satisfaction I need there, and that's not going to work. So I will just have to pause that
I
line
think
and
it's a
move that away.
genius. I think it's a genius way to do it.
No one else sees it like that, I don't think.
No, because it's like, yeah, again, that
It
whole,
doesn't
like,
fit the...
if you're trying to finish something, it's not working. Like,
Yeah.
if you drop it for a bit.
Yeah.
I do this with editing. Like, sometimes I'm like doing a
Pause
project
that,
and I'm just
yeah.
like, my brain is fried.
Yeah.
I'll just go do something else for a
Yeah.
minute, even though I don't have the time to go do that.
Yeah.
But doing that, something else, coming back, and then you're like, bang.
Yes,
You've dissolved the roadblock.
Yeah.
Like, I guess writers and things have that as well.
It's like a writer's block, or an editing thing. Like if I'm too close to a story, I have to pause that and like move on to something else and then come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're onto it.
Yeah. I don't think it's for everyone.
Write the book, but you probably won't finish it, so don't worry.
The book's very scattered.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of pages stuck together.
There's all this, and then now what's she got about? She's going off on this thing. She's writing a book on a completely different topic now halfway through.
What is this?
She's inspired by this thing now. Shiny object.
Yeah, it's shiny over there. But I do appreciate you making time in your busy schedule to fit me into.
Oh, no, of course. Well, I'm on a break at the moment. The inverted commas break, and I filled it like with everything because I'm like, I don't like breaks.
Like,
really.
I've got 3 hours spare, fill it up.
Yeah. I'm like, what do we do with my break?
Now, I have another question. I feel that you and I are very similar personalities in terms of, I think we could be put in front of most people and have a conversation and probably have a good time with that person. Give or take a few of them. There's a couple out there that are just a bit too hard to work with. But how do you... So this morning we're walking to the beach and my 3-year-old said to me, Daddy, why do you say hello to everyone?
Yeah, I say hello to everyone too. Yeah. Morning.
She noticed that because she's like... I had stopped for a second. I was like, I want to consider everyone my friend. So I want to say hello and just see what's there. And just, I had a chat with someone who was walking past or they'll say, oh, Daddy, did you know that person? I was like, no. And you might have had a 5-minute conversation or, whatever. And I want to instill that into them that we are not all just these little silos.
Yeah,
we are a community.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to talk. I think I learnt that on jobs. Like we just have to go meet people and there's no option to be shy or like not start talking. But then how do you do that in your personal life, operate the way I've seen you on set?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. And I like that. And that's when I feel like I'm being my best self is when I'm true to, like when I am being friendly. If you have days where you're just like, you could be at the shops and you're just like, oh my God, I'm exhausted and oh God again. And then I'm like, I don't feel like my best self. I wasn't like super, super friendly. But then those days where you've helped someone, like the other day there was someone at Kmart and the lady couldn't figure out how to use the photo booth thing. And I was in a huge rush because I was already way late for, I don't know, some boring thing at home that I had to do. I was like, it's way better to be at Kmart buying new things that I don't need. Yeah. And then this lady was like, needed some help with the photo booth. And another man, the guy at the counter was like, there's a huge line. And I said, oh, I'll help you out. I'll help you out. I've done this one before. So then I sat there and I literally it was like 15 or 20 minutes of like printing all the family photos for her and just chatting to her. And she was telling me about the family photo. It was this big reunion. And anyway, and so it like made her day and it made my day because I just liked getting to know this lady, helped her with something. And I was like, good deed done for the day. Like and I was like, that was so worth that. Like that was worth my time than getting home to, I don't know, clean the floors before a guest came over or something like that. Yeah. I was like, that's me thriving. Like, and that is the stuff exactly. I want to instill those things in the kids and it's true to like who I am. And I love that. Like I love saying hi to people and make them smile. If they smile back, great. Maybe that just was the little boost that they needed. Like, and just like, So I'm like that you do that too. And I saw that in you when we worked together. I'm like, this guy, he's my energy.
But then we clash. No, we didn't clash.
No.
We don't. The thing I really find it funny when people, and I've learned to be okay with this, when people are like if I'm trying to say hello to someone, there's like, no, dude, I'm shutting this door right now.
Yeah,
like, please go away. And I'll push it for a little bit and be like, da 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 da. And my wife sometimes will be just like, Aaron, they don't want to talk. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
But I think it's important to try.
Yeah.
Humans need other humans.
so.
And I think it's important that we are more sociable and more personable to each other, especially in this time where I do feel that everyone's a bit more grumpy, the world is a bit more crazy.
A bit more insular as well. Like,
very insular.
If you're sitting on you are that weird person though, if people are on a bus and you're like, hi. They're like, I'm in my space here.
Yeah.
Can't you see my invisible box here and my phone here? I do not want to talk to anyone and make eye contact. But I'm like, maybe they do though. But they're just like, I don't know how to react in society now because everyone sits and is, don't talk to each other. Sometimes I go to places like I'll sit and I won't use my phone so I can just watch.
Oh man,
just chill,
I do that
just
all the time.
I'm trying to chill. I'm still thinking about 10,000 things, but I'm like, interesting. Just like
It's funny. It's funny watching
look
it
around.
Yeah. And like you'll look at like 15 tables and those people. There might be a couple sitting there both on their phone. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
My favorite is like on a recent job. I was sitting on the plane and I sat next to some random person. And I was like, oh, hey, how you going? Oh, she's like, oh, good. And then 2 seconds later, she's like, she's like, that was her like, okay, Aaron, no more. That was good. I understood what she was saying.
And I get it as well. So I was like, oh, God, I'm sitting next to a chatty Cathy. Come on. So I'm like, it's okay, be a lot. But you know what? Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to say hi.
I think it's important to try.
Better to try. Yeah. It's like everything. It's better to try than to like just not.
Yeah. Because the people that get the value out of it far outweigh the people who let you know they don't want it.
Yeah.
So it's quite funny. Have you ever experienced like sexual discrimination on jobs? Do you feel?
Yeah. I would say so, but I try not to let things get to me or let it bother me. Because again, as a producer on a shoot, I try to be like everyone's like happy person, make sure the vibe's good, make sure everyone's getting along, make sure I get along with everyone so that we get a better product and a better outcome in the end. So even if I have been, there's like rude little comments or whatnot, I try to don't take it personally. I try to like let it be water off a duck's back.
Okay.
So I have found that. I did find early on as well in like working in media as well, it was kind of hard to, like when, there's obviously a lot of males in high power positions and whatnot, but then it's been a shift of that I've seen over the years as well. And like, there's been some, awesome women that are kind of leading the media teams that I work in, which is great. But yeah, on shoots for sure. Yeah, I see it, but I try not to let it get to me.
See, I find it so interesting that when I got into the industry, I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've had. So my bosses on jobs are generally always the producer, give or take.
Yeah.
They have predominantly been women. So I've never, from my position, I've always had to answer to a female, and I've always been happy with that. I've never had an issue. Yeah. So I'm always interested by that question.
Yeah.
Because just making sure that, is it still going on? Is there anything I can do to help?
No, for me personally, it's not, but I'm sure it would be going on. But for me personally, it's not, and I don't take huge offense to it. And I mean, it's one of those things of where you shift into 2024, in the culture we're in, that's like, should I be standing up more for the others? And am I one of those people that's, enabling it because it doesn't bother me that much personally, so I'm allowing it to happen, and then they do it to someone else and that's not right for them, but for me personally, I haven't been that affected, and I just kind of let it. I don't know. It hasn't been hugely impactful for me. There's been a couple of incidences, but not that bad.
Okay, I'm glad. Because I'll take them down. If you allow me to.
No. I mean, it's just it's something that I guess just to be aware of, but it's not. It's interesting. There is a real jokey kind of mentality on shoots as well. So it's again one of those things of it's hard to know where the line is.
Yeah.
And the whole industry is like the line's quite blurry. But
See, I get confused because some of the funniest jokes on jobs and stuff have come from women.
Yeah.
And I'm there going,
am I allowed to say something back to that?
Am I allowed to laugh at this?
And it's just the joking culture that I guess is like, I'm fine with it because I love a dirty joke, or love, I'm used to it and I think it's funny and I actually quite like it. It's refreshing to everywhere else in the world. You're like, I watch everything you say, and on certain shoots you're like, I'm with my buddies, I can just, enjoy myself. But it is like it's a blurry line. So I'm like, it's fine for me personally, but others probably not. And I've got to be more aware of it as well and go, if I sense someone's not liking that, I'd have to
because I guess
step in or do something.
Particularly if people that we haven't worked with before or often, their experience might be quite jarring on a different set. So our jokes where we're comfortable may not end up being Pleasant.
Yeah, pleasant.
Pleasant. So my final question for you is, 2 questions.
Yeah,
Okay. Have you had any life-changing moments on jobs?
Okay, I've got to think about that. If there's like been one particular life-changing moment. I mean, again, I just keep coming back to the fact that life and jobs as well as this collection of stories and experiences, and I think they've all kind of added to being quite big life-changing experiences. I am always inspired by, tourism operators that, have like big life changes. Like they might have been an accountant and,
Yes.
something else, and they had this dream to open a bed and breakfast and, share their little beautiful pocket of the world with people. So I'm always inspired by that and that kind of courage that they have to go out and follow their dreams. And that's inspiring. And I think that's probably been a life-changing experience, meeting these incredible people along the way whilst filming, Queensland travel shows and whatnot, because they're always really inspiring. They're hardworking. They're really incredible people, salt of the earth people. And yeah, I think those people kind of inspire me or have like made me go, you know what, you can do that. You can follow your dreams. You can, want to share and inspire others. So maybe that's been life-changing. I've done a big sea change this year.
Yeah.
Because I've always been drawn to the sea change.
Exactly. Tell me
so
about
it's probably, from over the years, seeing that other people can do it, and it's not, and it's a realistic view that we've got as well. It's not like you've opened a bed and breakfast and everything's rosy. It's like bloody hard work, and you see all sides of it being, behind the scenes in the industry filming it.
Yeah.
So I think that's been, I guess, life changing. Yeah, we did this big sea change. Just wanted to raise the kids by the beach, and I'm always drawn to nature, and again trying to find that balance. Trying to go, how do I find balance whilst living a fast-paced life in a big city?
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just, and I love change and I love adapting. So I'm like, this could be the new change. And yeah, and we're loving it. So.
Well, you virtually moved from inner city Brisbane to, the Tweed. So
Yeah,
you're 5 minutes from the water.
Yeah.
What is the daily change that you feel? Is it the air you're breathing? Is it the vibe?
It's the air, it's the vibe. Like the view, it just grounds me. Like when I walk out and I can see the mountain ranges and there's like perspective, I think it just immediately grounds me. Like it makes me feel my shoulders drop and I feel like much more at peace, just appreciating it. I'm a person that loves to appreciate the beauty in the little things. So I see rainbows all the time. I see butterflies and I'm just like, double rainbow. I'm that person that just gets way too excited. Fireworks. Oh my gosh, this is nature, is this magic? So I love it. Love the joy, love appreciating the joy and the delight in the little things in the world. And there's so much of it around here. So yeah, it's made me be more joyful and appreciative of that. The beach is like a 15-minute walk away or a couple of minute drive, and pick the kids up from preschool and we go to the beach after preschool. So I love that because I like, as you probably figured out, doing things and being busy. But being busy for me and like going to the beach after I pick the kids up is so like relaxing. Like if I'm doing something, like I'm out of the house and I'm there at the beach watching the kids play and they love it, they thrive just playing on the beach, creating their own little games. I can create games with them. Like it's just amazing. So that's what I've been loving that.
If you take the 2-hour drive out of it, you can kind of go to the beach a lot more, right?
Yeah. You could go if you went from Brisbane down to here, back and forth. But I was like, you wouldn't do it weekdays.
Yes.
And that was the thing that I wanted. Like weekends are great. Always my weekends were fulfilling and great, but I don't like the monotony of like weekdays. Like I don't like the routine monotony of, you've got to do this and then you eat your dinner, the kids go to bed, then you watch your one episode of TV and then you wake up the next day and you do that again and again for 5 days in a row. I'm like, there's 7 days in the week. So I like doing things on weeknights, and I just got into this habit in Brisbane to not do it or like not do it with the kids. Like you don't take the kids really that much. So anyway, so now I'm just loving
you're making me want to move back down.
and
here.
like forest in the backyard, and we go on little forest adventures. There's giant bunya pines in the back, and they've dropped big bunya nuts. And the week we moved in here, there were all of these bunya nuts, and so we were like foraging bunya nuts, and we just sat there for hours, the kids and I, and then they just do bushcrafts and bush activities, and I love it, and they love it, and yeah, it's like just good for the soul. So that's my balance. Still doing stuff and creating and painting on the deck there and having crafternoons. Made these earrings with the kids. They collect shells at the beach.
Oh my goodness.
They go collect shells, and then we come back and we put them in resin and make little earrings, and then they pick out the design for the earrings, and just love that stuff.
You should be the tourism spokesperson for Tweed.
Yeah, I know.
The sea
is.
change.
Yeah, and it's a nice community. It's really nice community vibe. So, yeah. really
When
loving
we
it.
lived down here years ago, the first thing that I had to like adjust my mindset of was how long it takes to get a coffee.
Oh, yeah,
Because the two baristas would just chat with the person in front of you. Or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, you're just chatting.
They're just talking about the surf or the water.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
And you say, going, oh man, it's like, it took a couple of weeks, but then I was just like, I
I've
just
slowed
got
down.
into that
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
So it's definitely a more calm, more
Yes,
relaxed.
yeah.
Obviously, it's super busy down here
Yeah.
nowadays, but it totally, that was something I noticed immediately was just the vibe of everyone was just a little couple of
Yes.
notches down.
Yeah.
And it was okay. And I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And that's what I was like needing. Like I was like, I'm trying a lot of these things and it's not really working. And I love a big, like, let's get this happening. Let's do this. And it's actually working. So I was like, it might not work. We might do it and we might be like, oh, we're remote. We miss our friends. This is not. But I'm loving it. And we've got friends down here and our friends come visit as well. Purposely wanted to find somewhere that had like a little granny flat. So I'm like, come visit us.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love entertaining. And so
We can host you.
yeah, you can always come stay. So it's been really good.
So what was that conversation with Mikey like, or who decided?
He's always wanted to as well, but
Yeah.
he's always a bit more like cautious and realist, and I'm a dreamer. So I'll be like, well, let's do this. I think we can do it. And I put forward a case for it, and he puts forward his questions and how we're going to make this work and would this work. And then I go back to him, and then we are both in it. So usually I'm like always trying to convince him of it, but deep down he wants to do it
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
But he's like, well, I'm the realist, so I'm going to come up with the how it actually works realistically. And then together we do it, and he never regrets it either. He's always like, yep, glad you pushed me. Like he likes to be pushed a little bit outside his comfort zone to do
nice.
things. So yeah.
What was the time frame like from the initial conversation where you're like, I think I really want to move down the coast to
Yes.
moving in? What do you reckon the time frame was?
A few months.
Wow.
Because we got it was another long story. It's always a long story. Do you have time for a long story?
Yeah, totally.
We were thinking of moving at one point earlier last year, and then we decided, you know what we'll do instead? We'll just renovate our house at Spring Hill. We'll like get a DA in and raise it up and whatnot. Actually, that was a few years ago. So we decided to get the DA in, and it took 2 years to get the DA all approved. By the time it all got approved, it was like COVID and all the rest, and the building costs went up. So we were like, oh, we won't do that. So let's maybe, think about this move, maybe to the coast. We're just thinking about it, but we weren't sure how it would work. And then out of nowhere, those floods came last year, and we had an investment property in Windsor, and it got flooded really badly all of a sudden, like out of nowhere. It flooded 3 meters, and we're like, like there was a really small flood risk on it, and
Yep.
it just was like exceeded all expectations. And Mikey decided to tell me that next day that he didn't have flood insurance on it. He had it for like 10 years, and then all of a sudden it went up. So he was like, oh, I'm going to pay 10 grand. Like, what's the risk? It's not going to go upstairs ever. Anyway, it went upstairs. So we'd been talking about selling that house, and we'd been chatting with the tenants, and they were about to move out, and we were going to sell it and maybe do this move to the coast. And then it flooded, and we were like, okay, well, we can't do that because no one's going to buy it, and we are like we need to pay for this renovation or something because we've got a mortgage on it. What do we do? So in the end, I had kind of just about finished up with my last gig at work, and I said, look, I'm going to have to finish earlier because I'm going to have to do this renovation myself at this house. So I had a builder that I'd worked with before, and he said, I don't have a team because everyone else is in like crazy building mode. It was already hard enough to get a builder at the time. So he said, you can be my apprentice. So then I was his apprentice for 3 months, and we gutted and rebuilt the house together. So that was February last year.
Yeah, wow.
Did all that and moved into it. So we lived in it ourselves because I was like, I can't, renovate it and have downstairs still a like war zone / work site and have tenants in it or anything like that. So we moved, and it was good because we were in a little 2-bedroom cottage originally. So we moved to this 3-bed house. We're like, okay, pivoting. Here's the new plan. Here's the new life. We're living in Windsor. And then we're going to try to figure out what to do from there. We're like, we don't know what to do because we can't sell it now. And we're about to I'm so gutted because we're about to go to auction, and it was about to all happen, and then it flooded. So we ended up living in it, and then ended up applying for a government buyback and ended up selling it. and getting a good price for it. And we're happy, and we were like, look, this is our kind of, life change. This is a big shake-up, so let's look at what else we can do, where else we can go. And we started looking in Brisbane, and nothing was like exciting us. And then we said, let's start looking at the coast and seeing what we can get and what will happen. And we started looking, and then we found this one, and we weren't looking originally down here. But we just fell in love with the area, and we were doing day trips basically each weekend. We'd come down and we would just go to the surf clubs and go to the beaches and go experience each basically town and see if we liked the vibe of it, if we liked it. Yeah, so we started doing that, and then if we could find the right house as well at the same time. So, and then it all kind of worked out. So, yes, it was like all happened. And then
from a flood to the coast.
Yeah, it was like, for a flood, we'll go on a hill now this time. Only a landslide risk now, or bushfires maybe. So
Dutch war.
Yeah. That's a long story. Yeah, probably won't want to put that whole thing in. But anyway, basically, flooded house, spent 3 months, renovating it myself. Loved the renovation, was going, 10 hours a day, lifting things that were way heavier than I should be lifting, gutted it, felt so proud of doing this full reno. Got shingles after it because I got myself really run down. The whole work until something happens and I get run down, and then I burnt out. Then I got better after that, and then realised, I need this lifestyle change. We need a change. And if I'm still in Brisbane and still doing the same sort of things, I'm just going to be in the same habits. So, then this has been great, this lifestyle change. So,
Well, I think it's working.
Finding my version of balance, right?
You're looking fabulous and emitting a vibrant energy as always. So, and yes, did you say I'm allowed to stay downstairs?
Yes.
The family cook?
Come stay.
Family of 5?
Play date. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you got another one due next week. That's very exciting.
It's coming.
Yeah.
But, thank you so much for taking the time to chat and invite me into your beautiful home.
Thank you for chatting.
I can only guess. I think we're going to do this again.
Yeah,
Going to be
I like
more things are going to happen, I think. So very exciting.
I'm very excited for you doing this. This is really cool.
Thank you.
It's great that you're learning a new skill, but trialing something new as well, and then being in front of the microphone as well, which is really exciting.
No, I think it's
What are your kind of New Year's resolutions or goals for 2024?
I don't have any goals for 2024 other than to do.
Ooh.
I'm not putting...
My advice, just do.
I'm just doing.
Be a doer.
I'm not putting things off. If I think it, quickly evaluate it and just doing it. Not, I'm going to start this later. I'm going to want to do that. I'm at a stage in life now especially with number 3 coming along. It's just, if you don't do, you won't.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty keen just to do it all. I don't have a 24 list of what I'm going to do. It's just, if it's there, I want to do it, I'm doing it. So
that's good. That's a way
exciting.
better mindset to have than specifically listing goals. That's what mine at the start of the year is a few things like that as well. Not specific yet, because I will evaluate them as they come. I don't want to set it all right now.
Yeah.
Trying to get better at, going with the flow and saying yes to other opportunities and no to others as well. And just do. And
I haven't figured out the no bit yet.
Yeah, I'm not good at that either.
Yeah.
Real yes man. I'm like, no.
I think it's bloody freelancer, right? You just got to be like, okay, no, that sounds good. I'll do that.
Yeah. Or it's that project sounds really exciting and interesting. But so many things are exciting and interesting to me. I'm like, I've got a huge curiosity. So I'm like, I'm curious about that's interesting. Well, that sounds good too. I'm like, I want to do it all.
We've been doomed.
Yeah.
This industry is too interesting. It is.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.